honor tonight of reading Deltona's first ever Pride Month Proclamation. By all means. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to receive this proclamation on behalf of the community, you're more than welcome to step to the front as I read. Thank you. Whereas Deltona, Florida is a community of diverse cultures, races, creeds, genders, and sexual identities which work together towards peace and understanding. And whereas lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender questioning and other sexually residents, students, employees, and business owners within Deltona contribute to this vibrant, innovative, culturally inclusive community and its diversity. And whereas various advancements exist respecting equal rights and protections for all citizens, including the LGBTQ community, throughout the state of Florida and the United States. Whereas Deltona takes a positive stance against discrimination and violence and celebrates the diversity in our city, and whereas Deltona is committed to helping celebrate an environment where each individual can feel respected, welcomed, and understood. Now, therefore, we, the City Commission of Deltona, Florida, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2024 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month. And I have just one quick follow-up that I must read, unfortunately. While our mayor has unfortunately declined to sign the proclamation for LGBTQ Pride Month, the rest of the City Commission and the broader Deltona community stand resolute in support of our LGBTQ residents. We not only recognize, but also celebrate the vast contributions and the vibrant diversity the LGBTQ community brings to our city. We are committed to building an inclusive environment where every person is valued and embraced. This decision by the mayor does not reflect the values of our community, which prides itself on welcoming and supporting all residents. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you to the City of Deltona for having me. My name is Sophia Jones, but my professional name is Savannah Nouveau. I am an actor, dancer, makeup artist, costume designer, drag queen, and most importantly, a queer woman. I wanted to say thank you to the Commission and the majority for passing the Pride Declaration for the month of June here in Deltona. I am recently crowned, as of Thursday, Miss Volusia Pride, and I'm here with my Mr. Carl with a K to help uplift the voice of the queer community within all of Volusia County. I do believe that this is my first time being here, so seeing the City of Deltona core values of commitment, honesty, integrity, and human compassion is amazing, and it is amazing to see it established within this community. I wish that I could say that for everybody, but I am very, very grateful for the time being here, and I'm very grateful that you have decided to hear our voices today. Thank you.
I live in DeLand. I have the property here. I represent PFlag, which is a new group in the area. It is a countywide group. It's been around in the country for 50 years. The purpose is to, I'll read exactly. It's an organization of LGBTQ+ people, parents, families, and allies who work together to create an equitable and inclusive world. We lead with love and we support families. We educate allies and advocate for social justice, equitable and inclusive legislation and policies. We were founded 50 years ago. There are over 300,000 people. We are in every state. There are 20 chapters in Florida. We started this chapter last August because we feel, along with your spirit of the resolution, there needs to be more acceptance and more acknowledgement of the variety of our community. We don't represent just gays and lesbians. We are straight. Here tonight are many of our board members. The recipient of the proclamation was an appropriate recipient. He's a member of different groups, and he's also a member of our board. So we are inclusive, and we are dedicated to what your proclamation stated. We are committed to helping create an environment where each individual can feel respected, welcomed, and undermined. I just want to thank the Commission. I know that you often take a lot of flack for different things, but you really did something right. I'm only sorry it wasn't unanimous, but thank you very much. I know those that are part of my community, and I have a gay son, and he would very much appreciate that if he were here. He lives in California. Thank you very much, and we really appreciate your passing this proclamation.
Hello, Mayor Avila and everyone. My name is Kamea Blackman, and I'm a resident of DeLand. I'm Kanakamali Mahu. That is, I am Native Hawaiian queer, but most importantly, I am a parent. My family and I moved back to Volusia County from Hawaii in 2020, and we left Florida in 2015 because Volusia became a place where people felt comfortable being open.
Excuse me, ma'am. I don't mean to interrupt you. Can you speak a little bit louder? You can
Yes.
lower the mic to your...
We left Florida in 2015. It was because Volusia had become a place where people felt comfortable being openly racist and homophobic. When we moved back here in 2020, we were very surprised and about Volusia County having a strong LGBT presence. Visibility is very important. When you're a minority amongst minorities, it is extremely important. We moved back and we felt very safe here. And so I just wanted to express how I feel about this welcomeness and this inclusivity. And I'd like to thank the Commission for the majority of the Commission for your support in declaring June as Pride Month. Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you to the City of Deltona Commissioners and Mayor for hearing us speak tonight. My name is Heather McLean. I'm a resident of DeLand, but I am the Executive Director of DeLand Pride and the Vice President of Volusia Pride. I'm here tonight because I am so thankful to the Commission for passing the Proclamation for Pride Month. It means so much to the people in the community who are LGBTQ and who don't feel like their voices are always heard. I also wanted to take a moment to, again, note that the gentleman who came up here to receive that proclamation is Scott Mena. He is a dedicated and loyal member of our organization and has worked extremely hard and has lived in Deltona for many, many years. And I'm sure that this was a really special moment for him tonight to be able to get that support in his hometown. So again, thank you. One of the things, again, I wish that this had been unanimous. One of the things that you've already heard is that we just held our Volusia Pride pageant this last week, and when we were posting about it on social media and some of the county-wide public groups, we did get some feedback. We'd see comments like, why are the gays always pushing this in our face, and why do I constantly have to hear about Pride Month? Why does that have to happen? And when is straight Pride Month, and that kind of thing. And well, this is a great example, so thank you so much for explaining why we need this, because we still do need to show that we are being heard, we are here, we're not going anywhere, we live in every community all around the world. So when people ask me, why do we need Pride Month? Why do we need to have it recognized? This is a great example, because not everybody supports us. We have dozens of laws in this state that have tried to harm our community, have tried to strip away our rights, and this is a great example. So thank you so much for that example. Thanks.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for lending me your ear for a few minutes this evening. My name is Rosemary Latham. I stand before you this evening as a mother of 3, a grandmother of 6, a nurse practitioner, a public servant. As your Democratic candidate for state representative for District 29. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at a critical moment. Our leaders and some of our great institutions are failing us. Why? In some cases, it's because they're bad or unethical. But often it's because they have taken us to the wrong objectives. And in choosing the wrong objectives, we create problems in our lives. Problems that we, everyday Floridians, must bear. And so my question to you this evening, all of you, is this: are we choosing the right objectives for the right reasons? And why? It is my belief that the job of an elected official is to lead with an open heart and with an open mind. It is to recognize the people of our community as they are, not who we want them to be. Recognition is important. In a healthy society, people need to be recognized. Recognition is how children of the next generation can look up to us and have the belief instilled inside them that they too can achieve anything they put their minds to. It is important to be seen, for our differences are not what keep us apart. They are what unite us as one people. They are what make us Americans. And yet people of every minority background have had to fight to be recognized at some point in our history. And the fight to be seen persists this evening. The proclamation being discussed this evening isn't about parades. It's not about rainbows. It's about being seen. It's about being heard. And it's about being accepted. It's about taking the steps to eviscerate hate. It's about the right to love who you want to love and the right to self-expression. It's about choosing the right objectives for the right reason. Thank you.
Hello. My name is Carter Vance. I'm a member of the community, and this is my first time speaking at anything like this. This isn't the first, and it definitely won't be the last time that the panel will hear about the widespread desire for Pride Month to be properly represented by the city and council. I know it's been said for years already, the serious implications of ignoring such a vulnerable group of people. It's not new information to know that LGBT individuals are more at risk in many ways, though some may not know that according to the Trevor Project, over half of LGBT youth report being verbally or physically harassed because of their identity, and roughly 41% of young transgender people have seriously considered suicide in the past year. I won't go into all of that though, because it's obvious that's never mattered to the government unless it's benefited them. It's never mattered how many parents will lose their babies, how many lives are cut short just because they wanted to be themselves in a world that wouldn't accept them. I know when it comes to government, all that matters is money and pushing an agenda. So I urge the council to please consider expanding representation for Pride Month, if not for the empathy of the citizens you're supposed to be representing, but for the hundreds of thousands of dollars in possible revenue. It's important to understand that your citizens want to participate and spend money on Pride-related things. Your choices are actively driving away people that will work and provide revenue for your city, and I definitely intend to be one of those people who refuse to stay and help fund a city that doesn't support me. Choose to invest in your LGBT citizens, and you'll not only save lives, but also boost our city's prosperity. Ignore us, and you'll lose not only revenue, but also whatever respect we have left to give.
Hello, I'm Robin Mimna. I'm a resident of Lake Helen, but I grew up here in Deltona. I serve as co-chair for Lake Helen Pride and on the board for the Enterprise Museum, both that proudly serve the people of Deltona. I want to thank the Majority Commission for acknowledging Pride Month and just point out that regardless of how you feel about it, by signing that proclamation, you are telling the LGBTQ community that you see us and that Deltona is a safe place for them. And I can't believe that a mayor of a city wouldn't want its citizens to feel safe and heard. And it's not too late to send that message. Thank you.
Hello, board. I hope this is close enough. Okay, there we go. I want to thank you so much for being able to represent this special month for us. It means a lot to me because I have lived in Deltona for over 20 years, and I can tell you back in the early 2000s that there wasn't really that much representation or anything like that, but most of us had to hide who we were. I went to Pine Ridge High School, and I remember having to have a girlfriend who actually turned out to be a lesbian, just to kind of hide any gossip of anything of me being gay. And it's unfortunate that me as a youth back then, I had to do that. And as time has changed, things have changed as well. But what has been really interesting was, and I'm thankful for, is that things start to grow. And most of all, that my wonderful family of DeLand Pride start to grow, especially with what happened at Pulse. It all started with Pulse. And what's happened with this group is that they have reached to so many people, and I used to be Mr. DeLand Pride, and what was really interesting was how a lot of the people in the community were pretty much shocked that there was any Pride event going on in DeLand, which even back in the early 2000s would never have imagined any of this happening. And what we are is we're here to help have that inclusion, have that support, show that love to every single person. And it's not just the people of the LGBTQ plus community, but we also have so many people within the spectrum, people who are ADA, and it's been so nice to be able to have that open space for everyone. And we're trying to get things going here in Deltona, and we're having a Rainbow Cinema Club, which I want to thank Enterprise Museum for that. But we're really trying to make things, happen and change. And when people say like, oh, why isn't there a straight, month or whatever? I'm like, well, how many? Like, please name me a country that straight people are persecuted. Please name me one. There are none. The ones that are persecuted are those that are part of the community of LGBTQ+. So for Deltona to be able to do this, I appreciate you doing this for us. I know that especially for the youth, it means so much to them, because people think that they don't pay attention to what's happening in politics or stuff like that, but they do. They really do. And it does affect them. And we see examples of, for instance, a lot of the youth that we hear that end their lives because they don't feel that they have any support. We don't want that to happen here in Deltona. We really want, especially the youth, to feel supported and loved. So thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate this proclamation, and it means so much to me and so many others. So thank you.
Rob Tremetta from Golden Arm Road. I didn't prepare really anything for today because I really didn't know what to expect today. I've gotten a lot of feedback from social media on what's happening with the Pride event, and it's caused me to think one of the reasons why we have Pride. And one of the things is that you may not understand it, you may not feel it, but I grew up in a time where I had to hide who I was. I grew up in a time where there wasn't any Pride event. There wasn't anybody that showed Pride. I grew up in a time where kids like me thought of committing suicide on a daily basis. I don't want to go back to that time. And if you think that that's hyperbole, well, look what's happening around us. One of the major parties in America, their platform states explicitly, marriage is only for a man and a woman. Now, I'm married. I've been with my partner 45 years. We were able to get married about 14 years ago, or something close to that. I don't want to lose that. Today, something happened to me that it hasn't happened probably in 40 years. I'm on the phone with somebody, and I'm explaining to that person what is going on, and that person says to me, well, what do the queers want? I had that person repeated 4 times because I was like dumbfounded. dumbfounded. Person says to me, well, you guys call yourself queer. Well, I can call myself whatever I want, but doesn't give you license to call me that. You don't use the N-word for black people. There are all kinds of slurs that you don't use. So if you think homophobia is dead, if you think we have our rights and we shouldn't do anything else, well, you know what? Nobody gave us rights. Nobody said, here, gay people, you have your rights now. Gay people fought for those rights. They rallied for those rights. They marched for those rights. And we will not, Mr. Mayor, we will not go back. Understand that. We are queer, we're here. Get used to us. This is the 21st century. Every group, don't be surprised, every group, every minority group is in fear today for their future. I don't want to go back to the 50s where I thought about committing suicide. I'm so pleased with my friends here who are who are gay, supporters of gay people, and I thank them. Thank you, 6 commissioners, for supporting this proclamation. Mayor, shame on you.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Nick Ducharme. I'm a resident of DeLand. My husband, David Roberts, and I are the advocacy co-chairs for DeLand Pride. Mayors and city commissions have a duty to represent their entire community, as you did tonight by passing this proclamation. Thank you for that. In this modern era, as people become more and more comfortable with coming out, it is no longer possible to deny that a significant portion of every community in the United States identifies as LGBTQ+. The Gallup polling data published this year shows that 7.6% of U.S. adults identify as LGBTQ+, and that more than 1 in 5 U.S. Gen Z adults identify as such too. June Pride Month has been a national and worldwide staple for several decades now, and here in West Volusia, Pride Month proclamations are nothing new, shocking, or political. In 2022, DeLand's Republican mayor at the time, Bob Apgar, signed a citywide Pride Month proclamation. Since then, DeLand's new Republican mayor, Chris Cloudman, has signed a Pride Month proclamation annually. Furthermore, DeLand city officials have read the proclamation aloud in public annually since 2022. It did cost the City of Deltona essentially nothing to join your DeLand neighbors tonight in issuing this proclamation. Meanwhile, I'm sure that members of the LGBTQ community here in Deltona will feel acknowledged and respected by their local government as human beings. Symbolic actions like a proclamation can give hope to those who need it and can even reduce the risk of self-harm. The officials of this city potentially have saved lives today by doing whatever was necessary to make this Pride Month proclamation a reality. Thank you for doing right by LGBTQ+ Deltonans and by all Deltonans who love and support them. Have a good day.
Good evening, Kathy Bryan, Deltona. Just to note, if anybody watches later, yes, you say your name, but you don't have to say your address anymore because not everybody wants to give out where they live. So that was for. As the mother of a bisexual girl who stood up at this podium and shook in her boots to bring the city awareness on Pride Month, what it means to be a member of the I will get it wrong, LGBTQ plus community. Sorry, kid. Is a very proud moment for me, and I want to thank everybody who's turned out in support of this. This is what she was looking for. I can't believe that it wasn't unanimous. and I'm going to tell you this is not a partisan thing, and it should never be a partisan thing. There's extremists on this side, and there's extremists on this side, and I'm not happy with everything our governor's done. There's some other things I am happy with. I don't belong to one party or the other. So let's not get a big political stir. How many of you guys here have ever felt left out? How many of you were picked on as a kid because you were shy, awkward? Maybe you weren't the best looking thing. I was. It's not a good feeling. Nobody should be excluded because of the way they live their lives, as long as it's not harmful to others, which I can't say that the Christians, not Christian Science, Scientology people are. Anyways, enough about that, because you know that mental health people, I'm so glad you did a proclamation for them, because that's another group that doesn't get enough recognition. They don't get the help they need. So welcome to the fold, everybody. Tattoos. How many of you guys out there have a tattoo? I don't have a tattoo. I'm gonna raise my hand. But you know, both my daughters have them. I know a lot of people. It's like the guy said. It's not just biker gangs in this filthy joint down the street. However, if there's underlying stuff with, you know, stuff that's going on that shouldn't be, if there's ownership and somebody's going to be making money off of it, who sits on the dais, I don't know. I haven't done the research. All I'm saying is that make sure you've done your research before you come up here and say stuff. Same thing with social media. I'm going to agree wholeheartedly with that. But for the person that signed the proclamation, thank you. Agree, disagree, I don't care. It doesn't matter. People are people. You believe what you want to believe. I'll believe what I want to believe. But until somebody shows me that they're a truly bad person because they're out murdering people or animals or other stuff, love them.
Charlene Smith, District 2. I just wanted to touch on why there's Pride Month to begin with. The origins of Pride Month can be traced back to the Stonewall Uprising on June 28, 1969, when LGBTQ patrons at the Stonewall Inn in New York City fought back against a police raid, sparking days of protests and riots. The pivotal event galvanized the movement and inspired the first Pride March in 1970, which aimed to commemorate the Stonewall riots and advocate for LGBTQ liberation. And just a side note, the only arrests that were made at that raid were people that were cross-dressing. So now Pride Month is held to commemorate those riots, honor the community's struggle for equal rights and visibility. It serves as a time for them to come together, celebrate their identities, culture, achievements, while also reflecting on the ongoing pursuit of equality and justice. It also serves as a time for the community to unite, express pride in their identities, and advocate for their rights. So let's fast forward to today. Just last year, our state representative had a temper tantrum on the state floor because he thought that transgender LGBTQ didn't deserve the same rights, and they were demons and imps and all these other things. And now we've moved to present day where you, Mr. Mayor, don't want to sign this proclamation for whatever reason. It's just ironic that just a couple months ago you were willing to defend a proclamation for a cult that destroys families and traffics children, and in your defense of that, you said, my goal as mayor of Deltona is to be inclusive of all residents and bring us together, not pick apart differences. So let's see if you can hold up to those words. And for all the cis heteros out there that are clutching their pearls, saying that you're not getting your own month, every month has been your month for years. Right. So have a seat. Thank you.
Good evening. You know, what an interesting week this has been. I got to read a couple quotes here. One, it says, "My goal as mayor of Deltona is to be inclusive of all residents and bring us together and not pick us apart." Another quote, "All residents of Deltona deserve respect. As mayor, I will always stand up to bigots and intolerance of others." You have failed miserably, Mayor. As most of y'all know, I work out at the flea market. I see all sorts of things out at the flea market. If you can't be nice, you shouldn't be out there at all. And Mayor, if you can't understand that it is a right as a human being to live your life the way you want to, then you need to walk away from being mayor. You have no right to stand up there and tell anybody else how to live when you live the way you have. You are an intolerable person from what I can tell. And that's no place in our mayor. None whatsoever. I have heard you stand right here and yell and scream at Heidi for less than what you've done. There is no excuse, none whatsoever. Thank you, Mirza, for signing Pride Month. I appreciate that you do that. Troy, everything you said tonight, standing up here talking about it, I appreciate it. You went above and beyond. I wish I could say the same about our mayor. It's a shame you are so closed-minded in the way you look at this. I take pride in what everybody I meet in my city. I don't care what they are, who they are, what religion they are, what color they are. It doesn't matter. They're a citizen in my city. That's all that matters. That's all that should ever matter. When I work out at the flea market, they come to see what I do as a creative mind. Why should it matter who they are, what color they are, what religion they are, and or otherwise? It should never matter, ever. For you to think otherwise shows how small-minded you truly are.